It starts with something so small you almost don't notice it. You tell your coworker you love the sweater she's wearing. You don't. It's fine, it's forgettable. But that night, brushing your teeth, you catch something in the mirror that makes you stop mid-motion. A line beside your eye, one you've had for years, is gone. Not faded, gone. Like it was never there at all. You tell yourself it's the lighting. You go to bed. The next morning you check again, and the line is still missing. Along with it, something else you can't quite name. A kind of tiredness around your eyes that used to live there permanently. The tiredness of someone who's carried 30-some years of mornings just like this one. It's lighter now. You look, unmistakably, a little younger than you did yesterday. You spend the whole day trying to explain it. Stress does strange things to sleep. Sleep does strange things to skin. You've heard people say a good night's rest can take years off your face. Maybe that's all this is. Then, at dinner, your sister asks if you actually finished the report you told your boss was done. You didn't. Not even close. You say yes anyway. The same easy, automatic yes you've said 100 times before to keep the peace, to avoid the 5-minute conversation about why you're behind. And that night, in the mirror, another line is gone. You start testing it, carefully, quietly, the way you'd test anything you're not ready to believe. You tell a small, harmless lie. You say you already ate when you haven't. And you watch the clock as much as the mirror. Because now you need to know how fast this works, not just whether it's real. 90 minutes later, your hands look different, smoother, like 10 years just walked out of them without asking permission. You are getting younger. Every lie, no matter how small, is taking time off your body and handing it back to you, unearned. At first, the temptation is impossible to resist. You've spent years watching your body slowly wear down, the way everyone does. And now here's a shortcut, a loophole sitting right in front of you. You start small, a white lie here, a flattering exaggeration there. You tell your mother the drive wasn't that bad. You tell a stranger you love their idea in a meeting you privately think is a disaster. Each one costs you nothing to say and gives you back something you thought was gone for good. Within a week, you look like you did in your late 20s. People notice. They ask what you've been doing. Better sleep, a new skincare routine, something. You laugh it off. You don't tell them the truth, which, of course, only speeds things up a little more. Here's the part nobody warns you about when a shortcut like this shows up. It doesn't stay small. The lies that used to feel like harmless social lubricant start to feel like currency. You find yourself reaching for them in moments where the truth would have been just fine. Softening a disagreement you didn't need to soften. Inventing a compliment you didn't need to give. Because some part of you now associates dishonesty with getting something back. You're not just avoiding conflict anymore. You're mining your own life for its resale value. You stop noticing how often you're doing it. That's the part that should scare you the most, and somehow doesn't. Not yet. A month in, you look 22. Your knees don't ache anymore. You can stay up until 2 a.m. and feel fine the next day. Old friends assume you found a miracle dermatologist. New people assume you're exactly the age you appear to be. And you let them, because correcting them would mean admitting how you got here. And that would mean telling the truth, which, ironically, is the one thing you've stopped being able to afford. That's when you start losing things you didn't expect to lose. Your body is 22, but your responsibilities are still the ones you built over decades. The job that took you 15 years to earn starts to feel like it belongs to someone else's hands. Conversations with people your own age, the real age, the one only you remember, start to feel like conversations across a gap that keeps widening. You laugh at the same jokes you always laughed at, but your face, now younger than your own memories, doesn't quite match the person who's laughing. You try to stop. You really do. For an entire week, you commit to nothing but the truth, even when it costs you something, even when it's uncomfortable. You tell your boss the report genuinely isn't done. You tell your sister the drive actually was that bad. Nothing reverses. The years don't come back. That's the part you didn't think to test before you started. The door only swings one way. So the lying continues, not because you want it to, but because stopping doesn't undo the damage, and starting again is the only version of moving forward you have left. You tell yourself this is fine. You tell yourself, again, a small lie, that you're still in control. Psychologists have studied something close to this feeling without any mirror involved at all. It's called moral licensing, the tendency for one small act, even a private one nobody else witnesses, to quietly give a person permission to cut corners somewhere else later. A single dishonest moment rarely stays contained. It tends to lower the threshold for the next one, and the one after that, until the version of yourself doing the choosing barely resembles the version who made the very first decision. You didn't need a magic mirror for that pattern to be true. You just needed a mirror honest enough to show it to you in a form you couldn't ignore. By the time you're 18 again, in a body that used to feel invincible and now just feels borrowed, you start to understand what you actually gave up. Not years. Trust. The version of you that people could rely on to say the hard, true thing when it mattered. That version has been quietly traded away, one convenient lie at a time, for a face that no longer matches a single memory you actually own. Tonight, you stand in front of the mirror one more time. You're young enough now that a stranger would guess you're barely out of childhood. You think about the one lie you haven't told yet, the biggest one, the one that could take you all the way back, past every mistake, past every version of yourself you've ever regretted being. It's right there. It would be so easy. And for the first time since this started, you don't reach for it. Instead, you say something true, something you've been avoiding for weeks. The real reason you started lying in the first place, the fear underneath all of it. It comes out shaky, unpolished, nothing like the smooth, easy lies you've gotten so good at telling. Nothing happens. No line reappears. No year comes rushing back. The mirror doesn't reward the truth the way it punished or paid for the lies. But something in your chest loosens anyway, in a way none of the borrowed years ever managed to do. Maybe that's the real trade this whole time. Not youth for honesty or honesty for youth, but the slow, quiet realization that a face can look 22 and still carry the exhaustion of someone who's been lying for years. And a face lined with everything true you've ever said can look, somehow, more like the person you actually wanted to become. You don't know yet if the years come back. You don't know if this is permanent or just the first true thing you've said in weeks finally catching up to you. You'll find out tomorrow when you check the mirror again. You always do.